Hi, welcome back to Food for Thought. I'm really excited to be here with my good friend Dianna Weir from the town. I'm going to have you say your title.
Okay, now I'm the Director of Housing and Community Services.
That's right, and does a wonderful job.
Thank
and we
you.
could talk about that a little bit as we're cooking. But I'm very excited about what you're making today because I know we're going to do a paella.
Yes.
But we're also going to be doing a sofrito, and I know sofritos and a lot of different cuisines are kind of form the base for a number of different foods in that cuisine. And today you're going to be showing us one. So why don't you go ahead and tell us how
this is basically from my heritage. I'm Puerto Rican and Colombian. And as a kid, my mother always used the sofrito, even though we lived here in this country. And it has certain ingredients that you have to get that really make it authentic. Okay. So we always have onions. We have garlic, of course. That's the main ingredient.
And there's about
sweet
2
peppers,
cups.
about 2 cups.
Yeah.
Sweet peppers, you can see it's about 1.5 cups maybe. And then the main, salt and pepper and a little vinegar.
Okay.
But the main ingredients that give it that special Caribbean, Puerto Rican smell and flavor are the greens. And the greens are cilantro, which is, this looks always like parsley in the store when you go buy it. You always have to make sure, oh my God, is it parsley or is it cilantro?
Yeah, because it definitely has a very
distinct flavor. But the one that's really special is what's called culantro. And this is sometimes referred to as a spiny cilantro, but it is culantro, and it's a much more powerful flavor.
It's the first time I've ever heard of this, so
yes.
I'm very happy
so it's, know about this. So what happens is we usually just put it in the blender. Now, years ago, this was the kids' job before they made these processors. You had a mortar and a pestle, and you put the garlic in and oregano in it, and you did it in a mortar and pestle, and then you used it in the food.
Okay.
But now we can do it with these wonderful new things like a food processor.
And this is kind
make
of an old
it in
one.
bulk, but that's okay. Yeah. Make it in bulk and then put it in the fridge or put it in the freezer.
How long will it keep in?
Well, with the vinegar and stuff, it's almost like a pickling.
Okay.
So you can keep it pretty much as long as it stays in the fridge, or you can put it in the freezer if you make big batches. Okay. But that's basically the ingredients, and let's let her rip.
Let's let her start. Okay, so how would you start to layer this in? So
well, I would layer in some garlic. We're going to need some more onions, though. Okay? And put in some of the peppers, which are good. Then we'll put in some of the onions. We'll chop up a few more. And then go in and give it a little bit of both of these. And then we'll put the second layer in, and that should be pretty much it.
Oh, just put them in just like that. Okay. And you're putting kind of equal
yeah, it doesn't matter because it's all going in.
Culantro and cilantro.
Yes, one bunch of each for the 2 cups of
Is it
garlic.
hard? Just because I've never seen it, and I think it's really interesting, and it obviously has a very similar flavor to the cilantro. Is it hard to find the culantro?
Yes,
okay.
it is.
So you have to
but now we have such a large Latino population that you can find a lot of these ingredients locally. Riverhead especially. Cilantro, of course, you can find anywhere, King Cullen and everywhere. But the rest of the ingredients are pretty basic. The culantro is the only one that's a little out of the way there.
And it has a really very similar flavor to the cilantro.
Yes.
So if you couldn't find it, don't let that stop you from making
you could
this
still use it. You could still use it with just the cilantro.
Okay.
Yes.
Super.
Okay. I'm going to chop up another onion. Sure. You want to do that? And
I'll be your
I already have onion in there. So if you want to whip up this little batch, I don't know how to use your little processor here, so I don't want to.
Pulse, yes. Okay, we're going to have to mush some of that down there.
Mush some of that down. There you go.
We're going to pretend like we did this. I don't know why. I find that this happens a lot with mushrooms.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a little while for everything. And usually that's why we use the vinegar a little bit.
You smell it? It's like wafting the cilantro.
Because the vinegar helps it.
See? There you go.
Yeah, the vinegar will help it move a little more quickly. It's got that nice golden flavor.
Okay.
Now, can we throw stuff in from here or not?
Yeah. So you can add the rest that way. Okay. Perfect. So in the end, the consistency will be like a paste?
Yeah, it's like a little pasty. It's like a pesto.
Okay, that's right.
Call it a Puerto Rican pesto if you would like. because that's basically what it is. But it really's got to be nice and green. So now we could do these. You might want to stop it and let's just do it that way, because it's a bunch of, oh, and they are thorny, I'll tell you, girl.
Don't get hurt.
They are thorny.
Oh, this sounds great. I hope this goes. I haven't stuffed it too high.
Little vinegar will make it go.
Okay. Yeah.
And there you go. It's going, it's going.
It's going.
See, I told you it was going to fill that. I could tell by the eye.
Oh, yeah, I've never done this before.
Yeah.
That's great. That should be good now. Now it'll go. Okay. And it looks very much like pesto.
It is.
It really does. Okay. All right, so we take that out.
So, get a spoon and we can spoon it into these, because this is usually how we...
You would just store this like this in the
You
freezer.
store it either in the freezer, or if you're using batches, defrost and put it... what they do on some sites is they take an ice cube tray.
Yeah, I saw that. So you have individual servings.
You have individual servings,
That's a
but you have
great
to be
idea.
very careful. You kind of have to have it hermetically sealed with wrap, because it'll permeate all the food in the freezer.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because
well,
it's very strong.
really
So
strong.
it is a Puerto Rican pesto at its best. And of course you can, yep. And any jar will do to keep in the fridge, you know, so it's convenient.
So this could really last you a couple of, like a
Yeah,
month,
oh,
couple
it
months.
lasts you, yeah. If you're cooking Puerto Rican every day or Spanish every day, it doesn't last that long.
Okay.
But if you're only going to do it once in a while, then obviously. But you'll see when I make the paella, I use about 3 or 4 tablespoons, so.
So that's a great base to have for a number of meals that you could cook, and I'm sure we
Put it
could-
in the beans when you make your, you know, if you make
Oh,
soft
that
beans,
sounds
you can
good.
put it in the rice, you can put it, when I make pork chops in the oven,
Right.
I marinate them with this, and then I add soy sauce, and I marinate them for a
Soy
day.
sauce. That's interesting. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah,
really-
yeah.
that's great.
And Hosien sauce,
Hoisin, yeah, yeah,
Hosian
hoisin,
sauce, which is
yeah.
everything, or the garlic.
Black bean sauce. It's a black bean sauce.
Yes,
Fermented black.
I'll marinate with a little
Oh,
more
that sounds
vinegar,
wonderful.
the pork chops for a couple of days, you know, day before or whatever, and then just put them in the oven, like brown them a
sounds
little
good.
bit
That
and put them
sounds
in the
great.
oven.
Okay.
They're delicious. So
super.
that's
Okay.
your Puerto Rican pesto, people.
Okay. So this sausage, what do we have
Well,
in here? We have
This is a chorizo chicken rice, which is a little variation on a paella because we don't have any shrimp, we don't have any mussels. But you can make it with all or not at all.
Okay.
But we do have 3 different types of chorizo. We have a Colombian chorizo, a Mexican chorizo, and a Spanish
oh, wow.
chorizo.
Okay. What are the
Now,
differences?
the red one, which is like this, a very bright red compared to that color, is the Spanish chorizo. It's very strong.
Okay.
It's got a very potent kind of thing. This little pinky beige one is the Colombian chorizo, and this other brownish one is the Mexican.
Are they
So-
all made with the same meats, and it's just the
well,
spices
it's
that are varied?
the spices and maybe some of the meats. They're usually all pork-based, but some of them have different seasonings, just like you would make an Italian parsley sausage or a garlic sausage or
Okay.
a peppered
and you want
sausage.
these just diced.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoop.
He went flying.
I'm going to do these separately.
Yeah, I think it's easier if you do it that way.
My
That's
knives
fine.
are not as sharp as they should be. Okay. That casing is tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's a beautiful color.
Mhm.
And they smell very similar. Okay, so we add all of that in here.
Yep.
So how many of each would you say? I'm going to drive
I
Dianna a
think
little bit
one
crazy.
one sausage of each, unless
of
you
each.
like one flavor better.
Okay.
I did a little more because it's a big pan, and we're going
Okay.
to do a lot of rice, and you like it to be meaty sometimes.
Now that we did the sofrito, we're going to start on the main event, the paella.
Yes, the paella, correct.
I'm going to drive Dianna a little bit crazy because, like most good cooks, she does everything by eyeball, and I'm trying to give all of you an idea of what the amounts are of
Right.
everything. So we just chopped up the last
Chorizo.
chorizo, And we used, there are 3 different kinds.
Yes, and we used about one of each.
One of each, okay.
Some are a little longer, some are a little shorter, but it gives it a varied flavor in the rice.
Okay.
We do have chicken breasts.
And there was about
chopped
2?
up. 2 chicken breasts.
Cubed.
This is 2 1/4 cups of rice. You'll be so proud of me, see?
I am.
I actually measured it for
did.
you,
Thank you
okay?
very much.
And then we have a cup and a half of tomatoes, half a cup of the sweet peppers again, onions. We diced 1 very large onion, so the
Spanish
white
onion,
onions are good, the
yeah,
Spanish
a little
onions.
sweeter.
And then, of course, the sofrito that we just made.
star
And
dish.
we're going to use some chicken stock for the rice, and of course, olive oil is a first
Okay.
ingredient
And
that
then
we're
you
going to
have
use to
this little
brown.
secret.
Now, when I finish, and you'll see how I use this, this is Goya Sazon.
Okay.
And the reason I use it is because it has a lot of coloring. In the old days, there is a spice or a seed that's called anise or something, and it's very red. And you used to put it in the oil and let it cook, and it would make the oil red.
All right.
We don't do that anymore. That happened in the Stone Age.
Okay.
Now we have things like this that'll give it the saffron color
All right,
that
that's
you
great.
really want the
Super.
rice to have.
Okay,
Okay? And I use
great.
3 little packets. So now we're going to brown our meats
Okay.
in a little bit of olive oil. So we'll take it to the pot, make sure the olive oil is nice and hot before we do it, and brown our meat ingredients,
chorizo
our
and
protein,
vegetable,
yes. So what we want to do is,
Let me just get this on for you. Do you
Yeah.
want this like medium, I guess?
no, high.
High, okay.
Yeah, because we want to get a little brown
very
on it. So
nice.
you want to like cover, so like I said, about 3 tablespoons, just so you have enough, because it is a lot of meat, and you want to be able to fry it up well.
Okay.
So once that gets a nice warm,
Let me get you
Heat.
a set of tongs that you can use.
I'd rather use a spoon.
You want a spoon? What kind of a spoon?
Any kind of spoon that won't scratch that. Do you have one of those spoons? A wooden spoon, I guess, is going to have to be. Okay. So now we'll wait for that to get nice and hot, and we'll start
So you
with
don't
the
put
chicken
garlic in this,
first.
You just do these.
Yeah, we
without
don't.
it?
We,
Okay,
we
'cause
have our
the
pesto.
sofrito. Okay.
Yeah, so the pesto is all done. So that basically is why that's the base of everything. Do I use a little more chopped onion? Yes, because I like the way it looks in the rice,
Okay.
and it'll give it
That makes
flavor.
All right.
And you want to have that look. The pepper's the same thing. You want to have that different
But you
look
really
of
have
peppers
that
and
base of
tomatoes,
flavor
but
with
the
the
flavor is
sofrito.
right there. So that's kind of what you're looking at.
We're going to put this in when we know the pan is nice and hot.
When the pan is nice and hot, because we do want to get a little brown.
You hear
You
it.
hear that sizzle?
Yeah, I do.
So
Yep.
we're going to throw this in. You
Now
can
I
hear
really
the
hear it,
sizzle
yeah.
now.
You do this one at a time, so you do the chicken first and then the chorizo?
Yes, because the
Okay.
chorizo is going to have some fat of its own.
Right, okay.
But we want to make sure that the chicken is fully cooked. You know, we
On its own. So this is a good
kind
time
of
to
give
be
it a
able
little
to...
brown. So you'll be able to see it. It'll all get white looking, and then it'll start to get a little brown. Then we can put in the sausage.
Okay.
And then we will put in all the other ingredients.
Okay, it kind of
So-
comes together in a one-pot meal.
Yes,
which
it is a
very
one-pot
easy.
meal, which is great.
So this is a
you
good time
see-
just to hear a little bit about what you do in Town Hall, because you've been very instrumental in putting forward a lot of the affordable housing policies that
Yeah.
we've been trying to implement over
Well,
the last year or so.
I will
2
tell
years.
you on the board and all of the other board members have really been very supportive. You know, affordable housing is a ticklish issue because there's always a lot of community opposition because they don't know the unknown. Is it going to drop my property values? Is it going to bring other people here that I don't want? I mean, there are all these
and the
questions.
density, I know, is
yes,
always
the
an issue.
density and water and traffic, and they're valid concerns. They really are. Because somebody told me out of the clear blue, I'm putting an affordable house. Whoa, 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 whoa! I want to know what's. So these are all valid concerns, but I think at the end of the day, like happened in Spionk and in Sandy Hollow,
Yeah.
when people come together and say, hey, this isn't going to be so bad, you know, it's great. My kids will be be able to live there. That's when
there.
people start to get a little, you
'Cause
know,
we have such a unique
realization.
situation here between
do.
our seasonality,
High
the
cost of
tourism, high
housing.
cost of housing,
Right.
and all of that.
So what happens is, and I'm very happy, as a matter of fact, we took a ride down to Sandy Hollow.
Oh, you
and
did?
yesterday I took pictures.
Okay.
And they're beautiful.
I mean, it's like right down the street from
Yeah,
here.
Sandy Hollow's
Yeah.
down the street, but we took a ride to Spionk too because I wanted to see how that was moving along. Both of them will be ready before the end of the year. People will
that's
be
great.
moving in.
And then we'll be doing
So
a lottery
we're
for the-
excited, yes. That'll be a lottery. Anything new, we do a lottery.
Right.
Because I
is
have
fair.
1,000 people on our registry.
a lot.
Over 1,000 people
lot.
waiting for rentals or home ownership.
Okay.
So, you know, we just closed on 2 homes in Tuckahoe,
Yeah.
and they're lovely, and that was a wonderful development. So we try to do as much as we can, but we really need the community input. even if it starts out as opposition, that's okay.
Yeah,
You
no,
know, we
everybody's
know people are
point-
going to be concerned, and
We
we
need to hear
want
everybody.
we want to allay those fears.
Right.
So I'm very happy that the board allowed this Spionk in Sandy Hollow, because once it's built, people will forget it's even there. You know, Bridgehampton Commons, in Bridgehampton, there were
Right.
12 units there, 4 of them affordable rentals, and 8
I didn't even know there were 12 units there.
Yes.
By the shopping
12
center?
people.
Oh.
No, in up on the turnpike north of Huntington Crossways.
Okay.
There's a unit development there that we did when I was with the partnership, and there are 4 individual homes, single and separate, and 2 manor homes, each
Oh, the
with
manor-
4
I remember
people.
the manor homes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's a beautiful development.
Because it blends right into the community,
Yes,
which is what you want.
which
and
is
nobody-
what we
that's
want.
the
So
purpose of it.
you really just have to work with the community and get
Yeah,
them
I
to
think that's
realize.
great.
Yeah. So now you see this chicken is pretty
Okay.
much,
Opaque, you can't see.
yeah,
that.
you can't kind of see the pink anymore, and that's what we wanted, just to make sure.
Let me get you
So
another
now
bowl.
I'm going to throw in the
Oh, you throw it in on top
sausage.
of.
Oh,
Okay. I
yeah,
didn't know if you
yeah.
had to
This is a
separate out.
one-pot meal. No, we're not separating anything out. And now we want that sausage to flavor with that chicken as well, and brown a little bit as well. So the sausage is already, you know, sausage is always almost
I
kind
always have
of,
to smell everything.
yeah,
You
that's
eat first with
okay.
your
You can
eyes and then
smell
your
and your
nose.
nose.
Usually your mouth is last.
It is
But
last.
it smells wonderful.
But anyway, so we're very excited because we do have a lot of things happening.
Good.
Including the inclusionary zoning. You know, inclusionary zoning means that every developer, private developer, that builds anything more than 5 units
No longer
has to
has
include
workforce
an
housing.
affordable house.
Yeah.
And you know, for the past 10 years, the economy was so bad. Banks weren't giving loans. You know,
Right.
people couldn't get mortgages, so we didn't have a lot of inclusionary zoning. Now we have quite a few units. We have the Watermill Village is going to have 4 units. We have another one in Bridgehampton that's going to have 2. So it's exciting to see.
And I know I did legislation last year, was it? that
Oh,
closed that
you fixed
loophole.
that. Yes,
So
you
the
did.
developer couldn't,
That was
you forget the
wonderful.
stuff that you do.
Yes,
Well,
that
so
was
just so they
wonderful.
couldn't get out of that loophole of building
Because
one
they'll
less
try.
density and then think, well,
Yeah.
everybody's trying to maximize their benefit.
But see, they get a
But-
density bonus, so I think that's...
It washes it.
Yeah,
It winds up being fair.
it really is not that horrible for the developers. They get something out of it. But sometimes they just don't want to do it because they fear, the same way that the neighbors fear, what having an affordable unit might be. And over the years, it turns out they're fine. It works out well.
And we work
So-
through, I know that we've had situations with homeowners' fees and maintenance fees.
And we
we've
do.
worked on things to try and get
We did.
individuals through things.
And you were very
It's a-
instrumental
it's a
in that. I
process.
appreciate
Yeah,
that
you were.
because,
I didn't-
but I'm saying,
I
you know,
didn't do anything.
I don't have a vote on the board, so yeah. I used to, but no more. So no, I appreciate that because all we can do as a town is incentivize by easing some restrictions or
Facilitating, right, yeah.
easing, you know, the zoning, helping them along. We've already eliminated any fees,
Right,
building
we waived
fees
those
and
fees.
permit fees. We waived those. There's only so much we can do as a
Yeah,
town
yeah.
when a private developer is building the
And a
units. So
homeowner association, we don't have any say
We
over
have
it,
no
but it's
control.
I think it gives them a sense of comfort to know that they can call and we'll go with them to try and fix the
Exactly,
situation.
exactly. So now you see it's bubbling very nicely and the sausage is integrating
Oil
right
is picking
there.
up some of the color from the chorizo.
Yes, it'll
that
start
see
to,
on the
you can
chicken
see the,
already.
yeah, you can see it's getting some color. So now we'll slowly start to insert
Layer the flavors.
our other layers. And so
Okay.
here's our sofrito, which is wonderful and very fresh. Oh, and it smells
It was getting fresher like 2
delicious.
minutes ago.
Delicious. So,
It's about 3 or 4 tablespoons.
oh yeah, we can put, you know, that's,
Okay.
that's perfect. And then our little secret ingredient that gives us the color.
Okay.
Because you see, we people of color like color, and it's important. It makes the food appealing visually, and it also tastes good. This sazon, the Goya sazon, does a great job. And I usually put in about 3 little packets because we have a lot of white rice coming in eventually. So now you see it's starting to get the actual look of something that is,
It looks delicious.
yeah, it's
It
getting
looks
good.
between like paprika and saffron
Yes, well,
because it's orange.
Yeah.
I'm only saying that.
yeah.
Because it's obviously orange.
So anyway, so this is going to give it a couple of minutes.
You have to cook through the sofrito.
Just a little bit to get it integrated so we don't have splotches of, you know, and it gets throughout all the meat. And then we're going to
What's
give that a
next? I'll
couple of
ask you what's
seconds. And then we will
Onions,
start the
peppers.
onions, yes.
Which would add a level of sweetness, and I use the Spanish onion, which is even sweeter than the regular onion, just to give
Wonderful,
you that.
yep.
And that was one large onion.
Oh, now the smell. Now you feel
Yeah,
the real...
hungry.
Good, because we get to eat some of this too. Now you'll get to feel the... and I do this all on a high flame so it's quick. Otherwise it can get soupy.
Yeah.
It can get soft. So you want it to do...
Soggy,
Yeah, so you want to do it so that it'll do that. Now you can see how that sofrito color is on all the chicken.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll give that a couple of minutes, and then we will add the tomatoes and the peppers.
Okay.
Little peppers. And now you can see that beautiful color. All right. Give that a couple of minutes to incorporate. I love one-pot meals.
Diana, this is 2 cups.
2 cups? Okay, then I'm going to
Exactly.
put some water. Because it doesn't matter. I can have another cup of water. Usually 3 cups. This just gives it a better flavor than just plain water, but you could use plain water. It doesn't matter. You don't have
bouillon
to.
cube.
You don't have to use chicken stock. But I am going to need about 3.5 cups of water.
So you want another cup and a half?
Yeah, yeah.
I only have 1 at a time.
That's fine. Okay, so now we're going to do the water, okay?
The chicken stock.
Chicken
right?
stock, yeah.
So that's about 2 cups of chicken stock. And you said
With
you're gonna be
another
looking
cup
at
and a
3
half, yeah.
cups for or
3.5 cups,
of
yeah.
liquid.
You want to cover everything.
Okay. Just another cup
So,
of water. But you could use all
another
chicken
cup?
stock.
Yeah,
However you want to do it.
right. And I would do a little bit more.
Okay. And I have to cup.
Now we're going to let that boil.
And you wanted some salt?
Yes. Now I'm going to liberally salt.
Now you said it really should be like a salty water, right? You're over,
Yeah.
seasoning
Because
it's going to go into the rice. It's going to get all
Yes.
absorbed into that.
so let's try that. A little bit of pepper, not a lot.
And it comes out a little draw. This is my favorite little thing. That's another little step.
I love it. I know. All right, let me. Okie dokie. Aw, that's cute. I love it.
My little peppermint.
Okay, I'm going to keep the salt nearby because I have to taste it now.
This is kosher salt, so it's just a little bit bigger than regular.
Can I have a little spoon to taste?
Here she goes.
That's good. You want to taste? It's good. I'm going to let that boil. It could even use a little more, but it's good.
Oh, so flavorful. That is delicious. You could use that as the base for a soup.
Everything. Yeah. That is what that sofrito does.
It's such a depth of flavor.
Yes.
It's so good. It tastes like it's been cooking all day.
Yep. So now we're going to let it boil till we see bubbling. I could use a little more.
You gotta do it like salt then.
Now you'll see it start to bubble.
Now, I know you said this wasn't a traditional paella because it doesn't have the seafood
Right,
and everything,
right.
but would it, I mean, is this still, would you refer to this as a paella?
Yes,
For all
of course.
different-
Paella's just some paellas they put lobster in, some they
Yeah.
put mussel, some don't put in fish because they can't eat fish.
Okay.
So you have to make it. That's what's wonderful about a paella. You can do anything in there.
Okay.
That kind of matches.
It's sort of like a preparation, or it's not
Yes.
necessarily one recipe. Which
right,
is, that's,
right.
you know, that-
Okay, once you have this bubbling brewing, Then we put in, this is gas, right? Good.
Yeah.
Then we'll put in the rice.
Okay.
And then lower the flame to very low, cover it, and cook it for about 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And then it's done. So
doing that sofrito and having that available, I mean, that's just a great thing to have on hand.
exactly, because
Anytime.
that boom, you put it in.
This is fast.
This was, yeah, this is half an hour.
Fast, yeah.
So if you have that, you can do a bunch of stuff.
And tastes like it's been cooking all
And
day.
it tastes like it's been cooking. Because that now will marinate into itself as well. The sofrito is going to make a flavor that you will have at your fingertips.
Can you put that in tomato sauce? Or like if can you combine that with different?
Well, yeah, but it's just a very Puerto Rican flavor. You wouldn't want to do that. I'd make a pesto to put in, you want your basil and your parsley and your Italian seasonings with so much tomato. But hey,
So by itself, it could be.
you could use it for anything. Yeah, like I told you, I marinate meat in it.
That's true. It's a great marinade.
It's a great marinade to use with other things, and vinegar is always very important. Okay, so now that it's boiling, we're going to take our rice, and we'll see after we put in the rice whether or not we need more rice or more water. Okay, because you'll be able to tell. Everything should be covered
And that was, you
with
said,
water.
2.5 cups?
That was about 2.5, 2.25 cup maybe. This is going to be a very meaty paella, lots of meat for the meat lovers. Sorry, I know that during Lent we don't do a lot on Fridays, but it will be a
That's
very
right.
meaty.
And this is the kind of thing that also, as I was saying to you before, the next day it tastes even better because
Oh, yeah.
those flavors have married.
Yes.
But they're
So
not competing
now-
with each other. You
No.
taste each of the things,
Taste all.
which is great.
So now we're going to cover it up, put it on a very low flame, as low as it can go. Might want to look and see how low that is.
Yeah, check it. I think I have it like on simmer.
Yeah, a little bit lower
Lower?
than that, yeah. Okay, if you have a timer, about 20 minutes, and we'll check it in halftime and see how that goes. So
Oh,
it
wow.
looks pretty good.
That looks more
So
than
now
pretty
it's
good,
just a
Diana.
matter. Yeah,
Being
so
honest.
now we can dress it with peas if you would
Peas?
like.
Okay. You do add it happens to give color, but it also adds a little bit of sweetness.
It
And
has
you
a
were
littion
saying
sweetness, yeah,
do
with
corn
every
sometimes?
mouthful.
Corn
Yeah,
kernels?
corn, pimento peppers, anything like that to give it, for the presentation, of course, and to give it a little sweetness, because it is very
great.
savory, okay? So that we know.
So now I'm just going to move it off the stove and bring it over to our bowls. That looks great, Diana.
Okay?
Yeah.
We'll do the best on this one, because
Let me just bring this here. Oh, that looks so great. And then you can actually want to let you do the honors.
No, you
because
do
we'll
it.
Sure.
Your show. Yeah,
So you
there
can
go.
make such a great presentation. Let's get some of those. Oh, you can smell that sofrito. It really comes through.
Okay, I'm not going to need that much. You can get
Let's do a taste.
I need a very little bit. I know, so I'll go.
Everyone can grab.
Okay, so then I'll make myself. Thank you.
You want to make your own?
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause I'm not going to eat a lot. And you're going to get your rice.
I am.
Mm-hmm. Yummy. Get a little chorizo in there. Get a little bit of peas in there. And a little tomato. Let's see. It's hot, so we're going to have to.
Oh my God.
Really?
So good.
Really good.
So good. Has so much flavor. It literally, it tastes like you've been doing this all day. And it's been sitting. That's
Very yummy. Oh my God.
Really
Came
good.
out really good.
I put salt and everything. It doesn't need a thing. It's perfectly seasoned.
If you do
just
the
as it
salt
is.
in the rice,
Really good. Really good.
oh yeah, that's good.
Thank you for being here.
My
I
pleasure.
appreciate
Thank
you'll have
you.
to come back again.
Wonderful.
Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you all.